such an asshole.
Don't know why that just cut off like that. It's a wonderful world of IT people always improving things. This is Asshole Consulting. How you kids doing? Hey, asshole, please provide a quote for a video on the nuts and bolts of planning and executing a long motorcycle trip, say 5,000 plus miles. And I say, any idea where you're going? He says, New England to San Diego, then to coastal Washington, and back to New England, staying within the U.S. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to get a Japanese bike, not a shit American one. Certainly not a Harley, because you want to ride a bike. You don't want to just look at it on the side of the road. I'm sorry, Harley riders. No, your pavement princesses that are always breaking down and they be plugged into a computer and have their vaginas waxed with special soft wax. So maybe your motorcycle. No, you want to ride? Japanese motorcycle, Honda, but any Japanese motorcycle is higher quality. You want to get it maintained, tuned, belts, everything. Get it all done. Fresh oil change and all that other stuff. And then you will also want to bring a set of tools that you can do some roadside repair, because after you take it into the motorcyclist dealer to do all that maintenance and repair, the very next thing you're going to do, because auto mechanics, and I would thank God motorcycle mechanics don't fall into this, but I'm not trusting mechanics in the United States today. So go and make sure everything's tightened down. The oil plug is in, all that other shit. Okay. For the sake of ease, at the 2,500 mile mark, which would probably be San Diego or somewhere along there, you can bring your tools and you could bring your own stuff to repair and all that. I would just schedule another appointment to have a tune-up done while you're in San Diego. And then continuing on the lines of, new tires. If your tires are old and they're starting to crack or they just got some miles on them, go get a set of new tires. You want hard rubber, long distance tires. Drop the extra money on that because it'll save you money. And then I would say once you get to the middle of the country, let's say Kansas City or St. Louis, make sure the tires have been balanced correctly and that they are not wearing out because they didn't balance them correctly. They didn't align them correctly. And you could kind of tell that where there be some inconsistent wear on the tire. But you got to put some miles on it to make sure you could see that. This will not be a crash unless they really knocked it out of whack. Even if it is out of whack, you got a new tire, you should be able to make it to San Diego with the tread, and then you reevaluate the situation there. Do I need a new tire? Please align it correctly. So you got that. I'm just trying to think of any. Gear is almost it's on par with your motorcycle being in shape, because you're going to run into weather. I would get some good quality rain slick gear. Do not get Coleman. Never buy Coleman. I'm not kidding. You're better off, no joke, just buying a hefty garbage bag, which makes a good water kind of proof thing. You just tear a hole in the garbage bag, put it over, poke your hands out. It works in a pinch. That's better than any kind of Coleman rain gear. You want a heavier rubber that will keep you dry. Flaps to go over your boots so water doesn't get into your socks. What else? I would get big saddlebags so you can put a lot of stuff in there. If you want to drop the extra money on locks for the saddlebags so people don't steal your shit, that's recommended. And then a big old backpack that you strap to the back unless you're bringing a partner with you, probably of the female persuasion. But yeah, you wanna be able to pretty much go through any kind of weather, and that includes winter. It may be summertime, but you go up to like I think Wolf Pass. God, I did Wolf Pass. How long ago was that? Oh my god, that's just flashing back to me now. Um, God, that was a long time ago. I'm gonna have you go Beartooth Pass. It's cold up there. Have everything to handle from 100 degrees in Arizona to 30 degrees on top of a mountain pass. That's what I would have, and therefore you need saddlebags and luggage and that. Wrap your laptop and all electronics in a garbage bag, so in case you hit rain, it stays dry. And that would be about it for preparation. Um, and then you say you're leaving out of New England. I'll get to that part later, but time it so you leave. There is no traffic around. Like you don't want to drive at night because the deer and critters on the road, but you don't want to drive in the day if you're starting in New York City or coming out of Boston because of the critters on the road. So if you're leaving a major metro, leave at 5 a.m. Get out, and I'd say that's about that. I said, where are you going? New England to San Diego, then coastal Washington, back to New England, staying within the U.S. All right, let's talk about where you're going to go. So your goal is to get to Grand Junction, Colorado. Now, might already have an itinerary, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to recommend you do to capture the most awesome shit, all right, depending on how much time you have. The 2/3 east of the country, there's nothing worth seeing. Your goal is to haul ass across and get to Grand Junction, Colorado. It starts getting pretty in Denver. That's when mountains start. And I'm going to assume if you're coming out of New England, Interstate 70 is going to be the quickest. But it may not. The point is, get to Grand Junction, Colorado as quickly as possible. Now, let me pull up the mappy map. Let's do this. The problem with Colorado is it's central to everything out west. And there's more stuff to do than you have time. What I'm going to recommend is one loop you do. You could do other loops, but you're already going to come in on Interstate 70. That's going to be pretty. But what I'm going to recommend you do is out of Grand Junction, you're going to go down 550 through Ouray, Silverton, Durango. Then I would cut over. There it is. Oh, I didn't ask you to do. Oh my God. Wow. I'm going to murder everybody. There's Slick Rock. Okay. You're over there. Yeah. There's Durango. Let's get up, and however you want to do it, I think the prettiest route is Durango over to Cortez or Dolores, then head back in towards the backside of Telluride and take all that way up to Gateway, Colorado. You want to get to Gateway, Colorado. This entire trip, you want to pay particularly close attention to your gas. Matter of fact, if you got room on your bike, I would bring a jerry can, a little gallon of gas. That would not be the worst thing for this trip. But you want to do a loop out of Grand Junction down to Ouray, Silverton, down to Durango. And then how you get from Durango to Gateway, Colorado, and then back to Grand Junction, that is up to you. But you need to do that 550 and you need to go to Gateway. Do not be tempted to take the dirt roads from Gateway to Moab unless you have an off-road dirt bike and you know how to drive that. If you have more time, I would maybe, no, I look at that, it's not worth it. Vernal, Utah and Dinosaur National Monument is really cool to check out, but I don't think it's worth the time on the bike to get there. It's where I would then go back into Colorado and Maybe he putts around in the Rocky Mountains a little bit, depending on temperature. But I would that 550 stretch and Gateway, you need to do that. So you're going to be that would be one whole day, maybe two, if you want to stay somewhere in Durango. Get back to Grand Junction. And then the next step is you're going to go out of Grand Junction on 70, and then you're going to do the 191 stretch. Moab, I recommend you spend at least a day there. Like you pull in one day, you spend another full day. You must drive to Moab, however, not on 191. You must drive to it, taking 70 out to the 128 bypass. You must do that. You do not want 191 to Moab. You want 128 to Moab. You are following the Colorado River down to Moab. And then when you get to Moab, I'd go to Arches. I go to Canyonlands. And I just drive around that area if you want a little bit there. That's more tourism stuff, not really riding. Take the 191 south. To Monument Valley, a Mexican Hat. And now I got to zoom out because I got to figure out. Yep, that's what you're going to do. Yep. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Oh, wait, hang on. See, buddy. Because you're going to San Diego. You have to do Moab. You do have to do Mexican Hat and Monument Valley. Although, while you're driving that, you're not going to do any hiking. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can't take you on the interstate. You're going to go 191 south, go through Monument Valley, and then you're going to, in one day, you should be able to do this. You're going to drop south, and you're going to turn back north and head west. Like, is Tuba City? Oh, no. You could take, what is that? Yeah, so 191. You see Monument Valley. Oh, yeah, you take the bypass 163 to Monument Valley. Sorry. Let me get my numbers straight. You're going to go from Moab to Kayenta. That will take you past Mexican Hat, Monument Valley. From Kayenta, you're going to go to Page. Oh, by the way, you might want to rewind this and write this down. I forgot to mention that. And you could stay in Page or Kanab. If you got the time in the sunlight, I get to Kanab. And then Kanab, from there, now you can start striking the other Utah parks. You must do Zion National Park. You must do Bryce. And coming in from the east side, you want to do the east entrance to Zion National Park because then you'll go through the tunnel. Make sure you do it in the morning before the normies, conformies, and inferiors get there. It's like first thing you want to be in and out of that park. Go check it out, look around, but you want to be sitting on it. You want to be getting out of there. Then you go up to Bryce, and then this may not seem logical. You're going to go back towards Kanab after, you might have to spend another night in Kanab. And then from there, I want to get you down to Sedona and Prescott, which means you're going to take 89 all the way down, but you're going to want to make the detour to the north rim of the Grand Canyon if you've not seen it. So I'm giving you the order in which to hit them. It depends on your daylight, riding time, and all that. If you want to cover a lot of ground, you could hit the north. If you got time, hit the north rim on your way out to Kanab. It's Kanab. If you don't have time, get to Kanab, get some sleep. Go do Zion. Go do Bryce. Maybe check out St. George if you want. I don't know. But then you're going to want to, on your way back to Kanab, if you got the extra couple hours, go do the northern rim of the Grand Canyon. It's just, you go down and back. Then, if you have the daylight, you're going to get back on Highway 89 and go south to Flagstaff. Now, again, Flagstaff is all right. It's just nothing's really there. Probably get a hotel or something depending on the time of day. Flagstaff is cold. 7,200 feet up in the air. It's cold. I don't care if it's Arizona. It's cold. And from Flagstaff, you want to take the scenic route. Is this still 89A? I got to look it up. Of course, you'll give me every bit of information except the name of the street. 89A, there it is. You want to take 89A from Flagstaff to Sedona. You want to go from Sedona to Jerome. Get a coffee in Jerome. Say, oh my God, ain't this quaint? There's Jerome. You want to get from Jerome to Prescott, and Prescott, downtown Prescott is a nice area to just crash. I recommend eating at the Palace in Prescott. From Prescott, because now you've done Utah, right? You don't have to head back north. Now you're going to head out towards the town Congress. There is a dive bar in Congress, a dive restaurant. You want to eat there? I know it's the only restaurant in Congress, Arizona. So you leave Prescott, you go to Congress, and upon being at Congress and eating at the restaurant, you're just hightailing it as quickly as you can to San Diego. So that looks like you're gonna drop down 60, get down to Yuma. It's desert riding is nice, but it's boring. So yeah, from Prescott, you make a straight shot as quickly as possible to San Diego. Looks like you're gonna come over on Interstate 8. Now you're in San Diego. Now, from there, you're gonna want to avoid LA. And if you could take a bypass, I'm going to leave that up to you how to do it. I recommend going through Temecula or Temecula, making it all the way up to Bakersfield, and then cutting over to the 101 / the highway that you want, because you want to ride. Let me double check. Then coastal to Washington. Yeah. Go to Bakersfield, cut over, and go up the 101 and enjoy. You will then run into San Francisco. How you want to handle that is up to you, because you got to avoid the entire Bay Area. You may want to cut inland, go up to Highway 5, and then cut back over. If you want to stick with the Highway 101, then obviously you don't want to go into Reno or Lake Tahoe. That's pretty. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it looks like 101 all the way up to Washington State. Cannon Beach has some nice coffee shops. Now, 101, I don't know how familiar you are with Washington State. The 101 goes up on that peninsula they got with Olympia National Park. I'm not a big fan of that area because it's just going to be raining all the time. And I mean, it's pretty, don't get me wrong. If you want, you could do the whole 101 loop back around. God damn it, YouTube. Oh, man. I miss 90s internet where it just worked. And Seattle is a nightmare. I've only explored the area around Leavenworth, which is beautiful. That Highway 2 is beautiful. But there's a lot more. There's this North Cascades National Parks. I've never been there. I'm sure it'd be beautiful to check out. Depends on how far you want to go. But Leavenworth isn't the worst place to drive to and get to. I think it's the Chinook Pass, though. Yeah, is that 12? Let me take a look. White Ski area. Where's Chinook Pass? Is that Cliffendale? I'm just trying to figure out how to avoid. How did I go through there? I play Seattle traffic by ear, but if you can get up to Highway 2 and cut over, cool. Otherwise, I take the Chinook Pass over and then kind of make your way up through Ellensburg, Yakima, get to Leavenworth, and stay on the center or eastern side of the Cascades. All right, from there, kind of up to you on how you want to go back. I'm going to recommend hightailing it across the eastern part of Washington because once the Cascades end, it interestingly enough becomes kind of more desert-like. Get to Coeur d'Alene, and then I like Glacier National Park, but you're going to be putting yourself way out of the way. If you got all the time in the world, sure, throw it in there. What I would do is I get to Missoula, and I drop south and follow the the Salmon River? Which road is this? 93. It's the one I went down. That's pretty. I would skip. What's it called? Boise, Idaho. There's no reason to go to Boise. And kind of take the back door into West Yellowstone. If you haven't done West Yellowstone, it's cool. Go look at the Grand Tetons. I'd spend a day or two there. But what you need to do is you really do need to get to Highway 212. I recommend going, what is it, Gardiner? Gardiner, yep. So by the entrance of Gardiner to Yellowstone National Park, you could pick up 212, which is the beginning of Chief Joseph's Highway. You want to take that all the way to Red Lodge, and that will make sure you go over Beartooth Pass. At that point, now you're starting to enter the plains again, and kind of there's nothing in Billings. There's really nothing in Billings. So I know this sounds odd, but once you get to Red Lodge, get some food, rest up, turn around, and head back. And I'd make, if you want to do that drive. Otherwise, you can much more quickly get to Cody. You don't have to go back up Beartooth Pass, but you want to get to Cody because then I'm going to head, you go to 10 Sleep, Wyoming, however you want to get there. There's nothing in 10 Sleep, Wyoming, except Highway 16. And Highway 16 and 10 Sleep Canyon is really beautiful for driving motorcycle. Get on over up to Buffalo, Wyoming. Depending on your day, you could stay there. You can wave at the apartment I had. Bring a gun in case the who dang diggly. You Buffalo should be fine though. And then from Buffalo, yeah, you're now starting to enter the rural area again. You're starting to enter the plains. And the last bit of mountain range is my hometown, the Black Hills. And now you're going to go from Buffalo to Sturgis. If you could time it, I'd avoid Sturgis, the rally, unless you really want to go to the rally. Then you could say you went to the rally. I would go a week or two before, a week or two after, because it's not a zoo. There's a lot of motorcyclists and people are enjoying the Black Hills for what it is. I would just drive around the Black Hills for a day. There's not that many paved roads. But go Mount Rushmore, go cruise through the Black Hills. Very nice, very nice. And then I would make my way out to Badlands National Park on your final stretch home. After Badlands National Park, there's nothing. Now you're back in the Plain States, and it is hightail your ass back home. And what I would do is take Interstate 90 and then get to La Crosse, Wisconsin. And here, you don't have to go to La Crosse, depending on which side of the Mississippi you want to drive down. That's about the prettiest part of the eastern side of the country is the Mississippi River Road. It is kind of sometimes you're on the west side of the Mississippi, sometimes you're on the east side, but I would take that all the way down to Dubuque. It's very pretty from La Crosse. If you're bored, you got a little bit of time, I'd even ride up to Lake Pepin and then turn around and ride back down. But that's up to you. But there's plenty of beautiful river road from La Crosse to Dubuque, Iowa. And you're going to want to cut over from Dubuque to Chicago. Stopping along the way, you must stop at Galena, Illinois, which is kind of a quaint, nice town. And it has President Grant's old home. It's a cool town. It's very nice. If the timing is such, I would crash there. Like if you get a hotel in Galena. You're going to go to Rockford, making your way to Chicago. You will not drive in Chicago. You'll take the 225. Is that the bypass? I'd even maybe take 39 south out of Rockford to 88. Yeah. However you avoid Chicago, that's up to you. But I would get, 90 all the way back to the east. And I don't know where exactly you are in New England. But once however you get past Chicago, then use the Google Maps to figure out the quickest way to get home because you're not missing anything. And that, I mean, yeah, there's a lot left on the table. We haven't even touched the Sierra Nevadas. You didn't touch Vegas. But that should be a very thorough and also quick. And by quick, I mean, unless you're planning on climbing that mountain, you're going to get to see everything. Like, okay, I get to see that. This is a beautiful drive. This is a beautiful view. Monument Valley, you just drive through. You don't stop and hike it or camp there. You just go. Grand Canyon, I don't know if you've ever been to the Grand Canyon. You know what the greatest thing to do aside from hike the Grand Canyon? You know what the greatest thing to do with the Grand Canyon is? Leave. There it is, 15 minutes. Let's go. It doesn't do a trick. There's no show. And a lot of it should be really fun, right? Oh, I forgot to mention Wallace, Idaho. Stop and get a coffee at Wallace, Idaho. That's about it. All right, $5. Ross the Skunk. Oh, but link below. Reconnaissance Man. While you're traveling out there, maybe keep an eye out for places you might want. Oh, this would be a cozy place to settle down and retire or live or buy a property. I would juxtapose that route I told you with the book Reconnaissance Man and see if there aren't places you might want to go buy some land. Ross the Skunk, $5. Rain-X for your visor for rain to improve visibility. That's not a bad idea. That's a good idea, Ross. You're right. Christian Corver Rubius, $2. Would you travel through Albuquerque? I would if he's got all the time in the world. I could add a bunch of addendums. And I had him totally miss out on the Enchanted Circle by Santa Fe and Taos, New Mexico. And Albuquerque, I like Albuquerque. I love Sandia Peak, but New Mexico, south of Albuquerque, there's not much. It's just boring old desert. I could have him drive an entire month in Arizona. Like he's previously on one road called 191. And when that drops out, it goes straight south. And that's a beautiful part when it enters Arizona. But the guy doesn't have 6 months, I presume, to do all these things. So I had to figure, okay, what's the quickest route to get him where he wants to go and for the best shit for him to see? Like we skipped Lake Tahoe. We skipped everything. There's the Yosemite National Park. This gets him a very good interior of the West down into the desert. He's got to go to San Diego for whatever reason. Avoiding all the Democrats and the morons in LA and San Francisco, get to do the Coastal Highway. He avoids Portland, gets to go through Astoria instead, gets to see the Cascades. The Cascades alone, I could probably spend 2 months in just because I've only done Highway 2. Glacier would be fine too, but you got to go up and you got to go all the way back down. And Montana is about this big. Cyberbully, $5. It's rare to see motorcyclists under 55, at least in my area. It looks fun, but seems to be an older community. Yeah, it really is. Sturgis is facing a problem with that. So is Harley, because their customer base is aging out. And Sturgis, not only is it numerically a shit show because you got whatever 700,000 people on roads that was built for maybe a population of 100,000. You throw in the old timers in there. Yeah, that's great, buddy. You knew how to ride a motorcycle in 1977. You are a danger now, and you got a shit ton of banker boomers. I always wanted to go do the Sturgis rally. Look, I got a brand new $80,000 motorcycle. Crash. It is funny. You go into Sturgis, the town, or Rapid City, or any one of the towns. You just look at how shiny and clean. In the olden days, when you actually had an odometer that wasn't digital, you could see how few miles they had. Oh, if you go out to the airport, these pampered little bitches you'll see all these semi trucks sitting at the airport. Like, what the fuck's with the semi truck sitting at the airport? Rapid City is not a big airport. Just chock full of semi trucks. And what it is they've trailered all their motorcycles out with the semi trucks, and then they fly in, and they don't even have their helmet or the motorcycle jacket. It's in the semi truck, and they just walk out of the airport, and there's their concierge service that gives them their shiny little 200 miles on it, fresh from the dealer Harley. Look, I'm a gangster. I'm a motorcycle rider. Crash. Yeah, you want to avoid that shit. You could just go and do Sturgis 2 weeks before. It's much more fun. But yeah, it's old people, and like RVs, I think that trend will end in the next 10 to 15 years. And yeah, Sturgis it's still going to happen, but it ain't going to be the big hootenanny it was in the 70s and 80s. And the women are certainly not. Oh my God. Like hanging up, ladies. Just come on. There's that right there. Without hot girls in bikinis that are topless, that rally's gonna die. It's just gonna die. Jay Chan, $5. Plans on writing a Cappy motorcycle guide to the. No, I don't. I just kind of explained it. There's been many other people who have written books about it, and truth be told, like even going through the maps there, I'm like, oh yeah, I meant to do that road, and I meant to do this road. I haven't ridden it all. The drawback of, asshole consulting takes a lot of time, and I remember the good old days when I was a nobody. Remember the fun times? I just go ride across the country and crash on people's couches. Oh, what's down this road? Let's go. I don't have I gotta get back and do videos, which I know that's not beats a real job any day, but I still gotta do the videos, and it keeps me off the road. Vic, €5. In Italy, we have our own motorcycle heaven. Search for Adriatic Coast motorcycle riding, strong West Coast vibes or something. Yeah, the Dolomites, once you get up into the Alps and all that. I had a friend who, Lecce, where was he? He was on the Adriatic side, and he had a motorcycle. And he said it was the best time of his life. He was a young man stationed out there in the military. And then his next, Vic, you may not know. You're gonna have to look it up on the maps. He went from southern Italy, wherever it was, to Minot, North Dakota, which is consistently below zero every winter. And he was just supposed to look over missile sites. That's what his job was. He went from probably the best, most wonderful part of the world to the coldest, most boring bit. Oh God. Do an image search, Southern Coast Italy, and then do an image search, Minot, North Dakota. And you'd be like, oh my God. Make a doc, $2. Ich bin meine motorcycle. Make a doc, $2. Got 99 problems, but Rumpelmintz ain't one. Yep. Rumpelmintz is not one. I don't have that problem anymore because I don't drink. It brings a whole bunch of new problems. Like, God, this is a fucking boring life. All right, there you go. Questions, answers, asshole consulting. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.